Hello and welcome to Gus Codes. I am Gus, and in this session of xganso I will work on character design with the help of ChatGPT. I will use the Notion app to organize the ideas regarding characters into three groups: identity, information, attributes, and mechanism. Let's start brainstorming. First of all, we're gonna describe to the ChatGPT what we're gonna do, and regarding the attributes and mechanism, we have three great areas. So identity, those are the immutable attributes of a character, such as the name, the class, the background. And then we have the attributes, those are the stats that they can change throughout the history and the progression. And we have the mechanics, so these are the game systems that operate on top of these attributes. First, I'm gonna do this quick description and ask ChatGPT to provide me with Notion tables to organize these ideas. Okay, so we have the three different tables. We're gonna create them in the Notion, and we're gonna use this information currently as the basis, and we're going to improve on each of them. So let's start creating the tables. Actually, I want to do different here. I want not to have already character information, but I want to have the data about what properties, what identities do we need. So it's gonna be a little bit different. Good, this is so much better. So let's use this as our basis. Didn't really like it because it doesn't represent exactly the schema, so I'm just gonna do it manually. I'm gonna skip pronouns because it's not very relevant. Maybe I'll put gender instead. Let's organize a little bit. Okay, these are metadata fields. Maybe we don't need to add them now. Okay, and I want to add another. And have some status about how important they are. The reason I'm keeping personality and motivation out is because I think they're gonna be attributes, or because they might change according to the game mechanics, so we're gonna leave it out. Okay, I think we got a good idea here. So now let's classify our characteristics. So name, it's essential. A class, it's also gonna be essential. Faction, I'm gonna put as nice to have, as well as the race and species. The age is also nice to have. Gender, I think it's essential for character representation, backstory, lore as well. Origin is a nice to have when we're creating the world. These nice to haves are gonna play a role. Visual description we need for the images, for the sprites, etc. Voice and speech style is nice to have, and notes trivia is nice to have. So maybe now we can sort by status, descending maybe. And so we have what our character will have of information, and these are gonna be implemented afterward. Okay, and with that I think we finished the character identity. We finished the first part with character identity, and now we learned a little bit on how to write better prompt for the ChatGPT to get our information. Unfortunately, I haven't learned yet how to import into Notion, so we're gonna do it manually for the time being. Okay, that's a good starting point. I would also like to add to what game system it is relevant, and also some kind of classification on what type of attribute it is, and if it is essential, nice to have, or optional. I would not have at this time this source formula UI visibility tuning point, because I don't want to make a too big of a list of things that might not be added. So let's go with this schema. Okay, I think we have a good attribute schema. I think there are some things that are still missing and we're gonna add them when we go to the mechanics. Let's maybe ask ChatGPT if there are any attributes that are still missing. Okay, let's add them. And maybe add this category. Okay, I'm not gonna classify everything at a time. Okay, I think we have a lot of attributes. A lot of them are redundant, but this one's nice to have. Okay, so they are not essential, but they are interesting for the next time. And I think with this we finished this first part of character attributes, and now we're gonna do the character mechanics. And in this part maybe we have to revisit the attributes. Okay, before starting, let's see if there are any column missing. Triggers, output, dependency, UI component. I think the category already covers the type, and the scope is also in it. So let's put these mechanics in the table. We're gonna link this later, but at the moment I'm just gonna put them as text. Okay, so let's see if there are other mechanics. Okay, let's see what he has. Not so much. Okay, and with this, I think let's just complete this. Okay, and with this I think we conclude our part for today. To summarize, today we did a brainstorm on character design. We structured identity, attributes and mechanisms related to the characters. Our focus is to gather the most ideas we could come up with, even if there is a lot of overlapping and redundancy. We also categorized them according to which status we are planning them, which should provide us a rough guide map. Right now we are focused on the essential elements that would give us the MVP, minimum viable product. I believe we managed to divide our scope, focus on basic combat. In the next session we will start coding the character in its basic form. Thank you for your time and see you in the next session.